We got a bike bag. Sick. Let's talk about what you should do and how you should pack the night before a big event. A fondo, a race, just riding with the homies. For most cyclists, it's a thing where you've gotten to the event that you want to be at and you've forgotten something. It may be as simple as, you know, you forgot your vest or whatever. Or it could be as game over as a helmet or shoes, or just be really a bummer when you forget your bike computer and you can't track any of the ride, which means that if it's not on Strava, it never really happened. Forgetting things is something that absolutely happens. My very first big century that I was doing was a climb to Kaiser. It was 155 miles, like 16,000 feet of climbing. I forgot my shoes. I put my shoes somewhere where I was like, this is where I'm never gonna forget my shoes, but it was somewhere different. It was somewhere that wasn't where they usually were. I was wearing my normal sneakers out the door. I get to the ride. I'm literally on my bike on the start line, and I look down and I have tennis shoes. And I'm just like, oh no, what is going on? We're gonna break this down into nutrition, gear, bike, and personal. I'm gonna talk about how I kind of prepare this, or what you should have prepared or have with you. But then also I'm gonna show you me putting it into my new awesome bag from BLS. Velo Racing. I've always usually just done like a backpack, and I still run a backpack for some of the food, like the crank powders and stuff like that. I don't usually just shove into the bag, the gear bag, but I'll throw extra food or my personal stuff in my backpack. But when I put all of my gear in my backpack, gosh, it was really nerve-wracking sometimes. I would go digging in there to try to find something, or like my shoes would be on the bottom and I wasn't 100% sure that my shoes were there. So the idea for having a gear bag and having everything have a spot, having it be prepared, is reducing that little bit of stress. When you're in the car and you're like, man, did I pack my shoes? You can be 100%, yeah man, I know, because they're always in this spot in my bag. All right, first thing, nutrition. We're gonna talk about pre-ride nutrition. This is the stuff you're gonna eat before you even are riding. So the night before, whatever you're gonna have for breakfast, get it as prepared as you possibly can. If it's oatmeal, have the pot on the stove with the oatmeal packs like in the pot, right? Obviously you're not cooking it, but this is, I mean, you could cook it, I guess, and put it in the fridge, but this is just gonna shave off a little bit of time. In the morning, you're groggy, maybe you can't find your oatmeal packets, or maybe the night before you realize you're out of oatmeal. And like, these are things that you can help be prepared. If you're gonna do a smoothie, get everything that doesn't need to be in the fridge out and ready. Your glass, you know, your smoothie's ready, the cup is clean, you've got your fruit, everything that you need for that smoothie, have it ready to go. On ride, you're gonna wanna find whatever's that you like to eat on the bike. If it's bananas or potatoes or homemade oat bars or whatever, awesome. If you're using like packaged foods, these quantum bars are super good. They're like full of caffeine. Fig bars, I'm a huge fan of. The power bars Power Bar came out with 2 different types that are vegan, and I've been digging them, man. They're really good. That's like on while you're eating. Also, you know, powders. Cranked, I use Cranked in my bottles. I also use some of the SIS little tablets. You want to get all that stuff ready though. You want to get it all in your bag. Have a very specific spot for your food to go into your bag. This BLS Velo Racing bag has this little like container thing that this is where I usually put my food in. I'll put all my food into this box, and then this goes in there. So I just know that any hard food, it's in this thing. Post-ride. This is after the ride, after the race. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I have some protein powder, and I'll have a bottle of water that is just water. It's just, there's nothing else in it, and it's a water bottle that I'm not gonna use on the ride or during the ride, so that I can mix my protein powder in the bottle, shake it up, and drink it after the ride. If you wanted to like have a sandwich ready to go, have your wife or whoever,
hey Mom! The meatloaf! We want it now!
Make you an awesome sandwich. You can have that as well and just put that in your bag for later, because man, there's nothing worse than if you bonk on a ride and you get back to the car and there's no food, and then maybe you're far away from anything, be prepared on that post-nutrition. That's important. All right, so let's talk about gear, right? So this is the gear that you're gonna be riding. The very first thing you need to think about is the must-haves. What do I have to have on my body to ride my bike? So then I will think from the ground up. Shoes, okay? Do I have shoes? Got them, got my shoes, all right? I'm gonna shove these into a very specific spot in my bag, and I'm just gonna forget about it because they're going in my bag. I need to have a kit, right? And usually what I'll do is I'll do 2 kits, but you know, if I'm going to a race, I'm gonna be running like my skin suit type deal. I've got a couple different skin suits, but so you gotta have the kit. And then you definitely need your helmet. Duh, right? So those are like the must-haves. Everything else is kind of just side stuff. Obviously you want everything. But this is, to me, when I'm like checking through my list, this is the stuff I know for sure. Okay, I got this, it's packaged away, it's put in its spot, boom, I'm good. Then you're gonna start thinking about like your extra items, your cold weather items, your arm warmers, your leg warmers, your vests, your jackets, those things, right? Your heart rate strap, your sunglasses, base layer, all these extra things that are gonna help you be more comfortable on your ride. A must-have, but it's not technically a must-have because you can ride without it, but is a computer, right? Your bike computer is super duper important because if you don't have this, you have no clue what you're doing. There's no power numbers or heart rate numbers, and there's no way to save the ride and tell the world that you rode. It's important, but I guess this does fall under an extra. Make sure it's charged, and make sure that you're not charging it somewhere weird so that in the morning you wake up and you walk out the door and you never put it on your bike. I like to have this thing charged, locked in on my bike, and I'm just not even thinking about it. It's just there, it's good to go. I also like to add in a backup, a second kit, a vest and a jacket, maybe 2 sets of arm warmers, 2 sets of socks. There's a lot of times I just like to back things up. You never know what's gonna happen, and I wanna have choices, I wanna have options. So a lot of times I will have 2 kits, maybe even 3 kits on hand to choose from. Backups, bro. All right, so let's talk about the bike. Again, I'm not very good at preparing bikes. I'm not good at maintenance. It's not a thing. But obviously what you want to do is make sure that your wheels or your tires are pumped up. It's been a thing where I've gone to go ride. It's early morning. I grab the bike and a tire's flat. So just make sure that your tires are good, that they're pumped up, that your rubber is good. Like check your wheels, check your actual rubber. Are they busted? Do you need new rubber? If you have a Di2 or like electronic shifting or a power meter on your bike, for the most part, just double check that the batteries are all good on those things, right? Just make sure that your bike is charged, which is a weird thing to say. Obviously other basic maintenance things like does it shift well, right? That sort of thing. But then I like to just put my bike right by the door. So on the way out, I've got my bag, I'm all ready to go. I grab the bike, I throw it on the rack, and I'm out. So now let's talk about personal things, personal items. You wouldn't think much about this type of stuff sometimes, but so I've got the Chris Froomer here. This is, to me, a very important item, the inhaler, because not all the time, but in rare cases, I would be dead if I did not have this. So I'm gonna make sure that I've got that. Maybe you have some kind of medical condition, you need your medicine, make sure that you've got that in your bag, that you've got your medicine in your bag. Also, personal items could be a change of clothes, right? Another t-shirt or another set of pants or a hat. Making sure your cell phone is charged. That's kind of a dumb thing to say, but dude, if you are going to an event and you're gonna be far away, being able to contact your loved ones or whatever the case, if there was an emergency, just make sure you have your phone. And how else are you gonna put some steezy pics on the gram if you don't have your phone? Another thing, not necessarily for racing, but for group rides or whatever, is this little, it's from Capsule, and it's this little plastic capsule, and then it holds my money and cards and license and all that stuff. It's really nice because you can just slip this in the back of your pocket, and since it's plastic and it's thin and it's good, man. So this is a personal item that I usually like to take to any sort of group rides. And then the last thing is once your bag is totally put together, everything's in the bag, all this is in there, and you're ready to go, right? This is the night before. You're gonna put it somewhere where you can't miss it. And then I like to put my change of clothes, what I'm gonna wear in the morning, on top of the bag. So I just go to this one spot, put my clothes on, my shoes, my socks, my shirt, whatever, grab my bag, and I'm out the door. This makes it to where you're not worrying about it at all. It's gonna save you watts if you're not worrying about, do I have everything ready to go? And then if you get to the event and you forgot something, you know, that just ruins your ride. All right, so let's pack our bag. This little box that comes with this thing, this is what I'm putting my food in. All right, so I've got my food. I also have my chain lube in here in this box. I'm gonna throw my inhaler in this little box. I'm also gonna throw in the little tablets, boom. Then zip that box up. I know that if I have this box, I have food in it. Next, let's grab our helmet. I'm gonna put it in the bottom, boom. And then this little box goes in the bottom as well. And so then that box kind of allows for support. And now, in the top section, we have 3 compartments. Shoes and velo toes are gonna go in there. And I'm gonna put my heart rate strap in my shoe. This is what I always do. I just always put my heart rate strap in my shoe so I don't lose it. This compartment right here, I put all my cold weather riding into. Vest, jacket, boom. So I know that if I need cold weather riding gear, I'm dipping into this pocket right there. Now, this top section is where I'm going to put my kit, my base layer. I probably should put the sunglasses in that little compartment, but I don't want it getting banged around. So I'm gonna put it in the top because it's all nice and soft in here. Put my extra set of socks in the top as well and close it up. Hey, I hope you enjoyed. This bag is super sick. I'm sure that there's a ton of bags out there, but the BLS I think is a good price. And man, it's just helped me keep way more organized. I've always been late. I'm always late at events. This has helped me clear my mind of worry and just be dialed in. I am a huge fan of having a dedicated cycling bag. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I just thought you could always use your backpack. This is the ticket, bro. So yeah, man, check out BLS. Link is in the description. Let me know what you do maybe the night before an event. If there's something very specific that you like to do, but this is what I do. As always, vegan cyclist. Yeah.